Can you hear me? I can hear me. Can you hear me? I heard it somewhere. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hello there, Mr. Spooner, Mrs. Avery. Welcome. Good to see you guys today. Sort of. See you. Sad? Who's sad? Nobody be sad. It's a happy moment. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. If you can, hit the like button once or twice, just so I can see some reactions. It'd be good. Hey, Jason, how's it going? All right, we'll get started here pretty soon. Just waiting to make sure my friend Robert's on. Which hopefully he is. Oh, I'm the one that hit sad. I guess I hit the wrong button once. Fat fingered it. I don't know if it should be letting to post some comments, but it's not hooked up. I thought I set that up, but oh well. Oh well. Lesson learned. That's what we're here today for. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. I hope my friend Robert's on. All right, well, we got 3:30. Hopefully, my friend Robert's here, but we'll get started because, I got to start on time for everybody. So just appreciate everybody coming out here today or stopping in just to kind of listen to this. Just want to let everybody know my name is Matt Berry. Obviously, you know because you joined in here. But for those that don't know, Matt Berry, I joined the John Maxwell team this past year. And right now for the month of May, they're doing their Global Youth Initiative, which is, a movement that we're doing to help empower and equip and inspire youth to be the leaders that they're born to be, and also help them develop some personal skills and just, grow into the people that they're going to be in this world and be the leaders that we're going to need moving forward. So, So what I did was I partnered with my friend Robert Page and his project De Lontero, which is out in Florida, and we're putting together a little program course to help with youth, some youth to keep them out of the what do you want to call it, the system and everything like that. If they got put into jail or coming out that, just to give them some value so they can get back on the right track and not go back in there, reduce that rate of them going in. So I'm working with Robert to develop a course that we're calling Life. And this is like one of the first initiations that we're putting out there for everybody, which it's going to be a course designed to increase student knowledge and skills necessary for everyday living. And we're going to emphasize goal setting, decision-making, problem solving, communication, healthy lifestyles and relationships, nutrition, personal safety, citizenship, consumerism, and teach them just everyday values that they can use to be more respectful to the parents, teachers, friends, family, and grow into the leaders that hopefully will be there. So, we'll give some little bit more details as we go through towards the end of the presentation. But, you can find out more by visiting this website here at Project De Lontero Life. You can go over to that and take a look at his life program. We're bringing it out here to California too. He's going to do a lot of virtual and go from there. So you can also, go to my contact page at the johncmaxwellgroup.com/Matthew Berry. Please go in there, do your contact info. We're looking for personal development, leadership development for youth and parents, and so and adults. So if you want that, here, what I want to be for you is to be that empowering inspiration that to help you, be the best that you can. Youth, adult, everything like that. That's my message. I want you to be your very best. So, please take a moment to visit these websites. Again, that's www.projectdelontero.org/life. You can check us out there, or you can go to the John C. Maxwell Group /Matthew Berry, and you can check out my page there and get some more powerful resources for you on that. So with that, I appreciate everybody again coming out here today and just taking a moment to hear this message that I have for the kids. I've been working with another group on Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn for the parents. For adults, and we've been going through that together. We're making great headway. Everybody's sharing our perspectives and stuff. And John Maxwell, he has the same content for kids. So you can get his book, John Maxwell's Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn for youth. And there's also one for kids, so stay tuned for a future presentation where I'll have a little reading of that book so we can read it to our kids at night and go from there. So without that, let's get started on our message today. And again, thank you guys for tuning in today live. Thank you guys for those that are going to watch this down the road and seeing it here in the future. Thank you for tuning in, and taking a moment to just rewatch this with us today. So I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to starting this journey with you and others in your family. So, my motto is be your very best. All right. So hopefully, are you ready to find out how to turn a loss into a win? That's what I'm here today. Can teach you some lessons, some key concepts, two key concepts there that'll help you teach it, whether you're an adult or a kid. But hopefully this is for the youth or young adult and everything too. But it's the same thing. There's two key things that you'll find out today. Hopefully two key takeaways that you can go and learn how to turn a loss into a win. So let's learn how to be your very best, to live your very, very best life. Sorry, I'm gotta bear with me here. I'm still getting my bearings on my program, but be your very best to live your very best life. All right. So how would you respond if you were out surfing in the ocean and got bitten by a shark? Assuming that is that you survived the attack. So let me tell you a story of Bethany Hamilton, because that's what's happened to her when she was only 13 years old. It was in October of 2003 off the coast of Kauai in Hawaii. A 14-foot tiger shark bit her and caused her to lose her left arm up to the shoulder. At that time, she was already a champion amateur surfer, but her goal, like most kids and everything, right, wanted to go be a pro, someday turn pro. That's where she wanted to go. But after such a catastrophic event, how would you feel? How could anyone hope to make surfing their job? Everyone around her thought she would never surf again. They talked about her for alternatives, like, go do surf photography. But only 3 days after the attack, she started thinking about surfing again because she had that desire. She had that passion, right? And as soon as her stitches, she was out, she was back in the water. If you see me, man, I got hit in the head with the baseball. Boom, it was bleeding. I was ready to go back out there, but they made me go to the hospital. That wasn't fun, but that's all right. But just like her, at first it was a real struggle. It takes 2 arms to paddle out from the beach, but Bethany learned how to do it with only one. It takes 2 arms to grab the board by the rails and dive under breakers, but Bethany learned how to do it with one. It takes 2 arms to push up to a standing position, but Bethany learned how to do it with one. And today, Bethany is 25 years old, and do you know what she does for a living? She surfs. That's what I call turning a loss into a win. So, everybody wants to win. I want to win. I know I did it every day when I was out on that ball field. I don't think I even learned that lesson that just going out there, having time with my friends and people from coworkers from work, and probably until I was at least 32 and starting out here at work, and people really started driving it in. But, I took it seriously. Every day I wanted to go out there and I wanted to just win at no cost. If you didn't give it 110%, which isn't really possible, right, then I didn't want to play with you. But a lot of people, they let me know. They let you know out there. But, we all want to win. In every function and every phase of our life, we want to win. So, we got to just sit back. Nobody's thinking, I sure hope I flunked my test today, right? Nobody goes in there and thinks that when you go take a test. Nobody wants to come in last. Everybody wants to do their best. And if you could, wouldn't you always want to come in first? I know I would. If I could, I would. So why do we want to win? Well, it's because winning feels good. If you've ever won, you know how good it feels. It can be winning in a sport, getting a prize in a contest, or even playing a game like Monopoly with your family, right? That game's roughest one. Nobody ever wants to sell their property, even though that's the whole point of the game, so you can make more money, right? You get stuck and everybody's just fighting over the lands and everything like that, and it's this never-ending game, right? That's what it is in life. 2, whether you think you're competitive or not, we're naturally competitive. You put little kids together on the playground. I know I see that with my son and daughter. They're running around. They're trying to find figure out some kind of game to play where there are winners or losers. They're always playing tag. They're always trying to see who can go up the slide the fastest, who can jump off the highest, who can climb all the ropes. And then, did anyone here play on a team when you were younger? I see some people on there that I know that have, that I've played sports with. Robert, Mike Roja, I've seen you. Welcome to it. I saw my friend Jason Sanchez on there, and another couple of people from my softball team, Jay Swizz. If you're still there, I've seen it. We all used to play games, just like you guys there. Whether it's soccer, t-ball, lacrosse, whatever, where they said they weren't going to keep score. Nobody kept score, right? Even if you didn't keep score, I bet you knew who won that game, right? Everybody knew who won. You felt good. The team that won felt good. The team that didn't, you still kind of felt that loss and everything like that. So if you don't think you're naturally competitive, think about the last time you were on a team that lost, or just anything you've done in life, or if you weren't picked early when you were picking up teams. So 2, we're put under pressure to win. That's the goal, right? Did you know that in Germany, though, kids don't receive any kind of grades until the 4th grade? 4th grade. Germans see the younger years up until then as a developmental period. Today, with our kids in school from kindergarten, you get grades the very first day. And that pressure keeps increasing every time, from 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. It's all about, hey, did you get an A? Did you get a B? This kid did a little bit better than you. But when you're winning, though, life's good. We know it. But my sports days, I know that's great. If we're winning, we're great. When we're losing, nobody wants to talk each other. We're just trying to figure out who's blaming each other. So, So what about when you're losing? Life doesn't feel so good then, right? Life can make us emotionally stuck. Losses can literally paralyze us and can cause us to get emotionally stuck and mentally defeated. We beat ourselves up. We think about the loss and what we should have or could have done. Even when our losses are far in the rearview mirror, they still seem to haunt us at times. Still does me. I know my senior year in high school, we were supposed to be that team that went in one state finally. We've been playing together ever since we were like 5, growing up through the minor leagues together. The Optimist Little Leagues together, and we were supposed to win. We were doing good that year too, undefeated going into right till we started district play, and then everything was downhill from there. I don't even think we made the playoffs that year, but we lost to every team in our district that we hadn't lost to the previous years, teams that we shouldn't have lost to. But I still think about that. But I did learn a valuable lesson. Got to speak up, got to take responsibility for my role on the team, and be able to learn and grow, and go from there. So it has happened. If you watch the movie Rounders, right, man, Matt Damon quotes Jack King's book, Confessions of a Winning Poker Player. Few players recall big pots that they have won, strange as it seems, but every player can remember with remarkable accuracy the outstanding tough beats of his career. Our losses stay with us. Losses make us wonder if we're losers. You may not know this, but everybody at middle school and high school secretly believes that everybody else is doing better than they are. Others are smarter, more athletic, better looking, more talented, have it easier at home, have less acne. Some of those feelings stay with us as adults. Those core things that just live with you. We don't think we measure up. And every time we lose at something, we wonder, am I a failure? Am I a loser? Is it always going to be this way? It's tough, right? The pressure we put on ourselves as kids and even into our adulthood. Our losses change us. Losses can hurt us and make us fear looking silly or weak. But we can't let them control us. So here's some questions. You see these questions on the screen there for you, right? You hopefully had some time to pressure to kind of review them. But as I go through this, hit like if it's something that resonates with you, you know? Consider these questions. So, have you ever lost at something that you wanted to win? I have all the time. I hit a like, hit a love, hit a like. How about, have you ever felt stupid when you were wrong? Don't we all? Man, that's a tough one, ain't it? Have you ever wished you could have a major do-over? I wish I could majorly do over my senior year of high school on the baseball team. Think about that all the time. Have you ever felt like you weren't allowed to fail? Like your parents, your teachers, your friends, your pastors, your preachers, all the people you think close expected you to meet extremely high standards no matter what, even if it didn't seem possible? Hmm. Just ever have you ever felt that? We've all had it. I know we can all resonate with that. So if you raised your hand for any of these questions, then this message is for you. Hello, Lydia. This message is for you. And I think it's and I know it is for me. I got to be reminded of every time. If I think we can all acknowledge and agree that we are going to have losses in our life, and so I want to unlock a profound gift that comes from every mistake, failure, and loss. We all want to win, but we can't always win, right? So finish this phrase for me. Somebody type it in there when it pops up here, if you have it or anything like that. Finish this phrase for me. I'll give it a second just to kind of come in. Sometimes you win, sometimes you. What's the first thing that comes to your head? See what we can get. Type a comment in there. Let's hear what you guys say. Here it is. Here it comes. Here it comes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Yep, that's the first word that always comes to our mind. Yep, lose. There it is. Yep, isn't that today, aren't I? It's going to be great. Ooh, sorry about that, everybody. Sorry. I guess I clicked one too many buttons there. Hopefully you guys are still there. Oh, man. Okay. So it's right where we left off, right? So we were talking, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Oh, come on. There you go. All right. Okay. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But we can change that statement. What if I told you it's totally wrong and it's not helping you? It should be. It should be. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Change that. Make it positive, right? It's a positive perspective. If you're going to lose, and you are, because everybody does, then why not put a positive spin on it? How do you do that? What does that look like? We're going to help you do that. Let me help you do that right now. So we're going to change it to a positive perspective. Sometimes you just need a change of perspective. Let me tell you a story of a girl named Amy. Amy was a typical high school student. She was so excited for her 16th birthday because she was going to get her driver's license and a car. Her parents loved her and had the means to buy her a nice car, so they bought her a brand new SUV. Lucky girl. When she arrived at school in it, her friends couldn't stop taking pictures of her awesome new car with their phones. They were so excited and jealous of Amy. I would have been. You would think that Amy would have been the happiest person in that group that day. But like a typical teenager, she wasn't. She was angry and couldn't stop crying. Her friends were confused and asked, "Why are you crying?" She responded, "I asked for a Pathfinder, and this stupid SUV is not a Pathfinder. I have the worst parents ever. They never give me what I want." Whew. Have you been there? I've heard kids say it. I don't think I've ever said it, but maybe I have. I don't know. If I did, I probably forgot it. But whew. And I know what I would be thinking though if I heard it every time those kids told me, like, "Are you kidding me? This girl's crazy. What a brat." I ain't hanging out with Amy. She ain't my friend. Think about it. She just got a brand new vehicle for her 16th birthday. Woo! Nice brand spanking new SUV. That was incredible. But to Amy, it was a loss because it was not what she wanted. How many of you would have seen that as a major win? I raised my hand. I know I would. I would have been glad to have an SUV. I think I took my dad's van and then he gave me a car. And then, I had my own issue there. But that's a story for another day. But, man. So, what if, let's change our perspective. So what if when you experience a loss, you could have a different perspective and begin to look for the gift? Every loss brings with it a valuable gift, and that's the opportunity to learn. That may sound corny or like wishful thinking, but the truth is, we don't learn from wins. We learn from losses, but only if we have the right perspective. You see that on here, right? Losing is a gift. We don't learn from wins. They don't make us better. Losses can. Every loss provides us a lesson. Saint Ignatius Loyola, man, I practiced saying that name a couple of times, couldn't say it, was one of the world's greatest educators. And he once said, "We learn only when we are ready to learn. It's hard to see the good in the losses sometimes, but successful people understand that every loss offers a lesson that can help you win the next time around. Losses become avenues for opportunity and breeding grounds for your personal growth. Therefore, the only way to truly lose in a loss is to ignore the lesson and choose not to learn." Emmett Fox, he's a noted 20th century spiritual leader, said, "Difficulties come to you at the right time to help you grow and move forward by overcoming them. The only real misfortune, the only real tragedy comes when we suffer without learning the lesson." Let that sink in. Comes from when we suffer without learning the lesson. You look at all those great sports players and all those people that are successful, they've had losses and difficulties in their life, and they've turned them into wins. Every single one of them. They turned them into wins for themselves, and that's how they got to successful places. I mean, when you don't learn, the initial loss isn't the big loss, because the biggest loss comes from not learning in the end, learning that lesson, because now you're just going to go repeat it. Successful people get this. They understand that sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. They understand that you're going to have losses and you're going to have setbacks. Here's one of my favorite athletes. Take Michael Jordan. We all hopefully probably just watched his little special that he just did called The Last Dance, right? Get another perspective from him. This was one of my favorite players, is my favorite player of all time, and one of the people I respected on his work ethic and everything that he brought to the game. But take him for example. He's the greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion. He has 6 NBA championships to his name. And he said this about himself: I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. And he attributes all his success to his failure. Man, look at that. Just 9,000 shots he missed. Doesn't talk about all the shots that he made. He was at the top of the league in scoring, I think next to Kareem. He lost almost 300 games. He's counting. Those are the things that powered him. 26 times he was the guy that was supposed to take that last shot and took it and missed. What do we see in the highlights, right, that we talk about? The ones that he makes, but the ones that made him are those ones that miss. And he failed over and over again. I'm a big baseball player. I love the game of baseball. In the game of baseball, right, you only have to hit 300. That's 3 out of 10 times. You just have to be successful. 3 out of 10 times. Other than that, you lose 2/3 of the time. 66.6%, you're a failure. And man, every baseball player, we beat ourselves up. We always go out on the field and like, man, I should have swung at that fastball he threw me. Or dang it, I wasn't in the right position. It's just those successes make you go wrong. If you look at it as a win, you're going to go back. You're going to jump on that next fastball, your next at bat. You're going to go see that curveball, be waiting for it. You're going to think ahead of the play and turn that double play because that guy hits up the middle or it likes to go to the right side of the field. You're ready to go. So what area should you try to win as a teenager to learn from your losses? That's why the idea is so powerful. I want to give you a guide to understanding what it takes to get the most out of every loss. I want to focus the rest of our time in 2 areas that as a teenager or for the adults watching, hopefully you share this with your kids in the future or later, that will serve you for the rest of your life. And they're very 2 important ones. They're truly will help you receive the gift from your loss. They are responsibility and teachability. Hopefully you write that down. Just write those 2 words, and every day you look at them. Responsibility and teachability. I'm going to teach you some ways on how to do it. So responsibility, that's our first step to learning. We can't learn from our loss until we take this first step. Who knows this guy? That's Robert Downey Jr. Man, he knows a thing or two about mistakes. Today, he's a star of Iron Man. He's the Avengers. He was on Sherlock Holmes. And he's riding a big wave of success, right? We just finished learning all of Avengers. He's rich, he's famous, and the movies he starred in have earned billions at the box office. But just over a decade ago, he was on a much different journey. How many people know this? You know this version of Robert Downey Jr.? In the 1980s and 1990s, Downey showed so much promise, same promise he showed today, and he was described as being the best actor of his generation. But behind the scenes, he had a messy life. From the time he was around 9 years old, Robert Downey Jr. was a drug addict. And even as he succeeded on screen, his real-world life was in chaos. Started in 1996, Downey's addiction started getting him into trouble with the law. For most of us, being arrested once would get our attention. Lucky for me, I never got arrested, but it scared me. My parents scared me on that side of it. But even after multiple arrests, multiple trips to rehab, multiple court appearances, 12 months in prison, Downey still stayed on his same destructive path. It looked as if he was going to squander his talent, like he was never going to learn from his losses. Finally, around 2002, after losing yet another major acting job and becoming uninsurable in the film, he made a decision. He took responsibility for himself. I just happened to be in a situation the very last time, and I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to continue doing this. He told Oprah Winfrey in an interview in 2004, and he reached out for help and ran with it. So today, Robert Downey Jr. lives a different life, right? We saw him as we know him more today as. I can't go that way. Hold on. We know him more today for being Iron Man. He takes responsibility for his actions every day. He stays busy with work, and he practices Wing Chun, a martial art that he credits with developing discipline in every area of his life. He has also surrounded himself with people that will help him and hold him accountable. That's what I'm offering you guys today. Don't miss this. When he's asked, though, about his past, he doesn't deny it or minimize it. This is what he says. This is what Robert Downey says. He says, to me, here's the only thing. You take responsibility, whether you're outraged by the results or not, and that you, in some way, participate in and create what you're experiencing, he said. I don't pretend it didn't happen. It's a great reminder to keep him in there. Admit when you messed up and call a loss a loss. You can't learn from losses unless you first admit that you have lost. We live in a world with so much pressure to perform that our tendency is to get defensive, shift blame, cover up our mistakes, lie to ourselves and others to make ourselves look better, and try to get ahead. It feels vulnerable to admit you've lost. It's humbling to say, I messed up. The truth is, when you make a mistake, everyone else around you usually knows it. Isn't that true? And then when you admit it, then they know that you know it, and now you earn their respect. When you blame shift and you get defensive, you lose that credibility with people. People stop trusting you. Responsibility is the most important ability that a person can possess. John Maxwell, in his book that this is referencing, Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn for Teens, he says, I have come to the conclusion that responsibility is the most important ability that a person can possess. You can let that sink in. I'll read it one more time. I have come to conclusion that responsibility is the most important ability that a person can possess. Nothing happens to advance our potential until we step up and we say, I'm responsible. We tend to think of responsibility as something given to us by someone who's in a position of authority, such as a parent or teacher, and that is often the case. But responsibility, it's also something you must be willing to take. So, where do you need to take responsibility? I want you to think for a minute about how you respond when you have a loss, make a mistake, or fail. Just think on it. How do you feel? Do you take responsibility, or do you make excuses? Losses, they're inevitable. Excuses, they're optional. You don't got to make an excuse. Turn it into something positive and say, I'm going to get through this. It's actually harder to move from excuses to success than from failure to success. Once you take that responsibility, you can start taking that next step to go. So where do you need to stop making excuses? Remember, you can't learn anything from a loss if you haven't convinced yourself that it's not a loss or that you're not responsible for it. In the sports that I played, when we lose, the first thing we hear all of us saying is, oh man, that ref, that umpire, they weren't making the right call. They weren't doing anything. We're the ones that played the game. We got to play the game. You got to go out there and play. It doesn't matter what he does or says. If he's making bad calls, we got to adjust. We got to come through that, right? It's everyday life. So do you keep making the same mistakes? If you are, then you're probably not taking responsibility. It's a great indicator for whether or not you take responsibility for your losses. And then what you can do is just ask yourself the following question. Do I continue to make the same mistakes? The reason you make the same mistakes is because you're not learning from them. The reason you're not learning from your mistakes is because you're not taking responsibility. But by taking responsibility, you open yourself up for that gift, that very special gift of learning, which comes from the choice of being responsible, taking responsibility for it. So number 2, the second side is teachability. It's the first step, right? You gotta take responsibility for it. But the second is to realize you don't know it all. Have you ever met a know-it-all? I meet them all the time, every day. I was probably there once. They chime in as the expert on every subject. And the only person in the room who doesn't know that they're annoying is them, right? We all have to deal with that. Everybody, every day, somebody's dealing with that one. Nobody knows it all. I don't. Don't tell them, though. Don't tell them I said so. But your teachers don't know it all either, and neither do you. So experts in almost every field make discoveries on a regular basis because they're still searching for more answers. That's what makes scientists great. They realize that there's more to know. There's always more to know. I've discovered that the more that I learn, the more I realize I don't know. There's so much more about life that you have left to learn. If you can commit to being teachable, it will serve your future well. If you really want to feel the weight of teachability, listen to what my friend John Maxwell says. He says, people often ask me what most determines if they will reach their potential. My answer, a teachable spirit. What does it mean to be teachable? I define teachable people as those who make the choice to learn and grow throughout life. Some people don't do that. Jazz trumpeter and band leader Louis Armstrong described them when he said, there are some people that if they don't know, you just can't tell them. So people who aren't teachable, they put a lid on their potential. It takes humility to listen and recognize that you have some growing to do. People who aren't teachable never rise and never get the nod. And they often wonder why they've been left out. It's because they have become their own lid. Their capacity is limited by their own arrogance and blindness. They never find the pathway of learning, nor do they learn the lessons life offered to them. To those who have a teachable spirit, they miss the gift that can be found in the loss. So you need to be open to learning, and no matter how good you are at something, no matter how good, you can always learn something. But it's easier for us to be teachable when we're not really good at it, right? Because we're trying to learn and trying to improve. But when you've mastered it or feel you've played that sport all your life, it's hard to listen to somebody tell you what you're doing. But what about those areas where you have talent? Like I said, I was pretty good at baseball, but there's always something I'm learning. You may do something really well, but that doesn't mean you can't improve. In order to truly live up to your potential, you have to be open to learning, and no matter what level you're at. If you watch all those professional athletes, the one thing you hear them consistently say, the ones that are considered greats, is they're always practicing, they're always learning from somebody else, and they're always getting better and doing better at their game. And you're never too old to stop learning. No matter what age, you always can learn something new. There's always different perspectives. The times are changing. Every day is different. So no matter what. A well-known speaker was communicating to his staff at a billion-dollar company. And then on the front row sat the CEO, who was in his 80s. Through the entire talk, the CEO listened and feverishly took notes. After the speaker finished, he said to the old CEO, "What could I possibly teach you? You're one of the top CEOs in the world." The CEO said, "I made a commitment years ago to be a constant learner by learning something new every day. Thank you so much for your lesson." See, he was teachable, and probably the reason why his company was so profitable. I remember giving a presentation when I was in grad school to the guy for the book that we studied. Why would he come to my presentation that day? But I felt honored and everything like that. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I wish I had that story, but Still, he was there to see how I applied his method and if there was anything that we could do to teach something new and learn something. So anybody at any moment can learn something new. So how do you know if you're a teachable person? First one, teachable people have a positive attitude toward learning. Positive attitude. It's about your attitude. It's the most important thing. People with a teachable spirit approach each day as an opportunity for a learning experience. Their hearts are open, their minds are alert for something new, their attitudes are expectant. And I mean, even at school, you learn something new every day. That's what you're there for. They know that success has less to do with having natural talent and more to do with choosing to learn. So being teachable depends on two things, though: capacity and attitude. Capacity is our natural ability to learn, and it may, to some degree, probably already be set for you. But your attitude is totally your choice, and you have to decide to keep an attitude of teachability. So studies on attitude, here's an example one. At Harvard and other universities, they study the importance of attitude to people's success. And attitude was found to be far more important than intelligence, education, special talent, or luck. And in fact, the researchers concluded that up to 85% of success in life is due to having a positive, teachable attitude, while 15% is due to ability. So, how's your attitude? Take an honest assessment of your life. Would you say that your attitude in general more positive or negative? What about your attitude toward life? How about your attitude toward learning? Raise your hand if you're mostly positive. I am. Raise your hand if you're mostly negative. By the way, if you didn't raise your hand for either one, you're probably mostly negative. So, would your friends agree with that assessment? Ask them. How about your parents or your siblings? Okay, sorry. Don't want to push you to go down that far. But just know this. Your attitude for every area in your life, including learning, simply boils down to one thing. It's a choice. You choose to be positive and watch everything in your life and your perspective on your situations change. Negative, just going to hold yourself back. The second one, teachable people have a beginner's mindset. We talked about this a few minutes ago. You don't know everything. A beginner's mindset keeps you open to learning and prevents you from being prideful. What if you approach every area of your life as a novice, a noob? You decide to listen and ask questions, even about the things you think you're an expert on. That is what it means to have a beginner's mindset. If you look at those athletes, all the pros in there, every day they were learning. They start fresh. They never think they have it. Successful people, they're always trying to learn something new. There's three philosophies to keep in mind. Everyone has something to teach me. Every day I have something to learn. And every time I learn something, I benefit for it. So here's some questions to help you figure out if you have a beginner's mindset. If you answer yes or no to these following questions. I always enjoy the first day of school. I did. That was fun. Mainly just because I want to go back and see my friends. Wasn't really looking to go to school. It doesn't bother me when I'm not the expert. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it bothers me when I'm not the expert. I'm coming up to it. When I face a new challenge, I look forward to solving it. Oh, that's absolutely. I love challenges. That's the way I am. I see problems as a chance to learn something new. Yeah, I think more of my competitiveness, but I definitely learned something in it. And I love to try new things like hobbies, activities, school subjects, etc. Yeah, I do. I love always being out there trying to do something new, different, push myself to the limit. You could go back at one of my recent Facebook posts and I did some push-ups. That was me testing my limit. I always had this dream to do 1,000 push-ups in a day, mainly because my friends a couple years ago told me about it. And I was like, yeah, right, that's impossible. But hey, with a little bit of hard work, a little bit of dedication, and a little method to your madness, you can do anything. And just pushing yourself to that next limit. So if you answered yes to most of these questions, you probably already have a beginner's mindset. But if you answered no to some, then you might just need to focus on some of those, on growing in those areas. Ooh, Nicola, I like that. You said we can only modify our own response to our external environment. It's great. Not of that or anyone else. You're exactly right. Yep. Now, the third one that we have, right? Teachable. Teachable people are willing to take a long, hard look in the mirror. We all look at ourselves in the mirror. But have you really looked at yourself in the mirror and just said something? Said something to yourself? Take that moment. Taking an honest look in the mirror can be hard. You know, we sometimes don't like what we see. Usually it's because our hair's messed up or the mustache didn't come out right or our makeup's all wrong, right? You know, and we don't like to feel vulnerable because we feel weakness. You know, so many people, including students, live a fantasy life. They pretend everything is better than it really is. It's probably a tough one for me. I got to try and do that myself. Take my positive attitude a little to the extreme sometimes, you know. But today, right, social media doesn't encourage teachability. Just look at it. Do you ever post your failures? Has anybody ever posted a failure on social media? I don't think I have. I'll raise my hand. Do you ever post a bad pic of yourself on social media? Not unless it's funny, right? If you're reading somebody's life based on their social media, you would think their life's amazing. You would think their life's amazing, adventurous, happy, and all together. The truth is, no one's as good as their social media suggests. So when you get honest with yourself, it's a game changer. It changes your life. You got a new perspective. You go in a whole nother direction. You get to start to be your very best. You get to live your very best life. So becoming and remaining teachable requires you to honestly and openly evaluate yourself on a continual basis. Anytime you face a challenge, loss, or problem, one of the first things you need to do to ask yourself is, am I the cause? Was it my fault? What did I do? Ask yourself that first before you start blaming that next person. That's the key to being teachable. If you answer yes, then you need to be ready to make changes. You know, make a change on yourself, even if it is just to go have that conversation with your friend or your parent or something and say, you know what, I messed up. I messed up, Mom. I messed up, Dad. You know, they respect that. Your parents will be all happy. They'll get the joy and everything there out of it. So, teachable people listen. Last one. Teachable people listen when people who care speak into their lives. So, have you ever had a friend get into a relationship that you just knew was wrong for him or her? Yep, we all have. Because we're all, looking at everybody else's life and telling them what it is. And when you try to talk to your friend about it, he or she ignored you. It's a high school way. You cared about them and their well-being, but they didn't want to listen. It reminds me of the story of the fox, the wolf, and the bear. So one day a fox, a wolf, and a bear were hunting together. After each of them caught a deer, they discussed how to divide the spoils. The bear asked the wolf how he thought how it should be done. The wolf said, everyone should get a deer. What the bear do? Well, suddenly the bear ate the wolf. Then the bear asked the fox how he proposed to divvy things up. The fox offered the bear his deer and then said the bear ought to take the wolf's deer as well. And then the bear asked, where did you get such wisdom? From the fox, said the wolf. That's kind of funny. Every time I read it, it just makes me laugh a little bit. Man, talk about learning from the losses, right? Paying attention. We don't like it when people speak truth into our lives. It's hard to hear the truth, ain't it? It's easy to cover it up. It's hard to hear the truth. Unfortunately, most of us are too much like the bear. We don't like it when people speak the truth. And when someone has courage enough to speak up, we attack them, The wolf was right. Share with everybody. Everybody get one. You each caught it, right? But it's not the way the bear saw it. So do you have anyone in your life who knows you really and is willing to tell you the truth? Even if you don't really want to hear it? To be teachable, you need to have those people around you. Then when you do, share feedback and criticism. You have to listen to it and honestly evaluate it without attacking them. Otherwise, they'll stop trying. So some of the greatest lessons in life are learned from people around you. Some have gone before you, some know you better than you know yourself, and some have ability to see things others can't. Oftentimes, it's the people that are closest to you that truly see the areas where you need to grow. They see your blind spots. So next time your friend is trying to tell you something and you want to hear him, just listen to him. Hear him out. Hear him out. That's what they're for. In fact, it's a great exercise to do a 360-degree assessment of your life. Probably don't know what that is, but it means asking the people all around you. Go ask your friend. Go ask your parents. Go ask your mentors. Ask your pastors, your coaches, your teachers, even your siblings, to tell you 2 things that you're really good at. I challenge you, each of you. I challenge you that today. 2 things. 2 things that you're really good at. And then also on the back end, ask them 2 things that you need to work on. You'll be surprised what people will tell you. For the first two good things, that's just to make it easier for them to talk to you, because usually if we know we're going to tell somebody something positive, we're more willing to tell them something, an area that they can improve in. And then ask them to tell you, and then you have to listen and you learn from it to have a takeaway. I bet you if you ask enough people, you'll see a pattern. You'll begin to figure out your blind spots in your life. So, I wish I had learned these lessons when I was your age. Maybe our baseball team would have made it. I see Chris McDermott there. He was one of my buddies on the baseball team. Keith Silver was up there earlier. If we would have all stepped up, took responsibility for our role on that team, we'd have been state champions, no doubt about it. Undefeated and everything. But we got to our high point of that season, beat that Carlsbad team that we had all wanted to do from the previous year, and we set out our goal and we accomplished that. And then once we got to that, we didn't know how to handle that next level. But I wish I had learned it. Had to learn now in the hard way. And like I said, it still took me another 10, 15 years until I probably stopped learning that lesson. So I spoke up on the teams that I play today. So I've made many mistakes more than once. I've learned in my life that it matters the speed at which you learn things. So the slower you learn, the greater the pain. The longer you're going to have to deal with those struggles in life. The faster you learn, the greater the gift. The figure you're able to move on to it, the more you could go to that next stage. So don't allow losses to take you out, but see them as opportunities for growth and learning. Take responsibility and always be teachable. It will take you farther than you've ever imagined. Always remember, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And if you learn and get better, that's turning a loss into a win. So I just want to say thank you guys for all coming out here today and sharing this moment. This is one of my passions. I'm trying to go empower the youth and everything in this world to be better, right? Be a role model for them. So, please share this with a kid. Share this story. Go show it to your teenager at home, or even the kids lower than that. Go share it to any of your friends and family and everything like that. Share it. We want to help them. And so let me do one more thing. Where did it go? So again, thank you guys for coming out here today. Visit Project De Lantero to go sign up for our next I lost it. Go to this website here, projectdelantero.org.life/life. That way you can go sign up to be part of our teen empowerment program. We're going to be doing it virtual. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Chris Herrera, my friend, my buddy from football days. Go sign up your son, man. Go sign him up. Go to projectdelantero.org.life. We start teaching them some values. Got a personality assessment that we can help them be, better and understand their profile. You can find out if you're a leader already naturally. You get with me and we can take this test preliminary and get them some feedback and show them where they can be in life. Go be a leader. is your personality magnetic? Then you could be an actor, actress, music, artist, public speaker. You have a balanced life, right? Life coach, nurse, veterinarian, pastor, educator, counselor. Or, if you're just a C and comfortable and you prefer details, then you could that's you. Go be a software developer, accountant, lawyer, scientist. Hey, you go register at projectdelontero.org/life or come see me at Matthew Berry here at johncmaxwellgroup.com/Matthew Berry. And I'll get you in touch to do this this assessment with your kids, as well as any other thing that you need to look at. We got a nice little program to help teach them some values. It'll be an 8-week virtual program that we'll have, and we're setting it up. And come learn from other kids and help inspire each other like that. So please take a moment to visit these 2 websites and sign up, or just post and send me an email on through what is this, Facebook or wherever. Just shoot me an email, Facebook and stuff like that. You know how to get in touch with me. Share it, and we'll reach out and get to you. So I want to thank you guys all for joining today, or if you're rewatching an episode of this, feel free to just reach out, find out more, share it, so we can get out there to the rest of the kids and the youth out there, so we can make a difference in this world. And I appreciate it. I appreciate all the people helping me, the admin T helping me with posting and making sure the links are in the text of the stream here, as well as Robert for posting on his page at Project Delontero. So hey, hopefully you tell your kids, your sons, your daughters, and everything like that, or your friends and everything, and bring them, and we'll start a group with you. So appreciate it, and reach out, and hope to hear from you guys soon. So you guys have a good weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Everybody stay safe during this COVID situation, and go help somebody. Take responsibility and remain teachable with love. Be your very best to live your very best life. Sayonara, my friends.